Hello everyone, I read 4 books in June, so I'm going to be sharing them with you today, along with 3 of my current reads. I have 3 with me because the 4th one I read on my Kindle. I'm just going to be sharing a little bit about each one. This will be a shorter kind of video since I only read 4 books last month, which is like not that much. Usually I read 5 to 7, anywhere from 5 to 7. 4 is still good, and I'm still ahead of my goal of 60 books for 28-26. So, the descriptions for some of these books, I got it from Goodreads, okay? A Book of Common Prayer, it was a story about 2 women in Boca Grande. One was Grace, who controls much of the country's wealth and knows all of its secrets, and then the other was Charlotte Douglas, who knows nothing. Immaculate of history, innocent of politics, she came to Boca Grande to hopefully reunite with her fugitive daughter. Grace is the narrator who kind of focuses on Charlotte Douglas throughout the whole story and her life, but it's interesting that Charlotte isn't telling the story herself, because the story is definitely not about Grace. They're kind of foils, they're direct foils of each other, I would say. Charlotte's daughter, I forgot her name, Marin, I think it was Marin, commits terrorism, I think? Yeah, it was definitely terrorism. And she doesn't know where she is, and she, in her head, believes that she'll be in Boca Grande, so she does go there and she waits for her, and everyone talks about it and everyone talks about her, and she's called Noche Americana. Is that what it's called? And I probably pronounced that wrong. I liked it. I thought it was really interesting and inspiring for my own writing. I really liked Charlotte Douglas's character. She was like not a very good person and she was kind of stupid, but I felt bad for her. And the way that Grace narrated, like, described Charlotte was kind of funny. And it was a really short book. It was 272 pages, and the chapters are really short. The chapters were 2 to 3 pages on average. And I really liked Play It As It Lays, so I picked this one up, and then I also have Democracy on my bookshelf that I'm gonna read soon, but I really recommend this book. It's quite fun. Next, I read my favorite book probably of the whole year so far, Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. So in Crossmoor, Ireland, early 1990s, Lucy, which is the protagonist, is expected to marry her family friend, childhood best friend, Martin, and basically take over the farm, live with him, settle down. But she realizes as she grows up and other girls develop feelings for boys and girls are so obsessed with boys and everything like that, her feelings for Martin that were expected of her and for boys in general just never come to fruition, basically. But what does develop is her feelings for her friend Susanna. I love this story so much, y'all. You have to read this book. If you haven't seen it already, are you living under a rock? Question mark, because this book is everywhere for me. I decided to pick it up. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but wow. 5 stars, 6 stars. It was so good. I've already talked about it on this channel. I think I've talked about it several times on this channel, but I did read it in June, so it counts for this video. Basically, the main part of the story is that she has to choose, will she take her inheritance and go live with Susanna and be happy but lose everyone that basically has ever loved her, or conform and go settle down with Martin, which she doesn't hate Martin or anything, she just doesn't want him, like, romantically. It is so devastating and sometimes it's really irritating, but that's just how it was and is for people who are surrounded by homophobia. I felt bad for Lucy, but I also just wanted to, like, punch her in the head because Susanna just would have given everything for her, so at times I was annoyed with her, but it felt realistic. It felt really realistic. The homophobia felt realistic. It was done really well, and the letters between the two girls, they were so beautiful. Like, it made me shed a tear. I read half of this book in one sitting. I probably read like this much just in one sitting and finished it because I just had to know what was gonna happen. If you haven't read Sunburn, please go pick it up immediately. Okay? Next, I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which I had never read an Emily Henry book, and I probably won't read an Emily Henry book again after this. This one, I'll just read from the back. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize winning human thundercloud, and they are both on balmy little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the octogenarian who claims to be the Margaret Ives. Tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who will tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1, Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2, she's ready for this job and the chance to impress her unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3, Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her in a shaken to the core way that suggests he sees her as competition. But the problem is, Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of her story, pieces they can't swap to put together because of the ironclad NDA, and the inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, a tragedy, or a love ballad, depending on who's telling it. That was pretty accurate. I personally, the only thing I was interested in was Margaret's story, and I did not care at all whatsoever about, I don't even remember her name. Alice and Hayden. It was too fast. It wasn't realistic. It didn't feel real. I don't even read romances, so I don't know why I even did that. I thought, like, okay, summer romance, fun, but like with a side of literary fiction, maybe because of like Margaret's story. But then I was like, okay, this is awful. Not awful, but it's just not for me. Like, it was awful for me. I don't read romance. I only enjoy like a subplot of romance in a literary fiction. So, I mean, I did that to myself, but yeah, maybe I'll try an Emily Henry book again, but for now, definitely not. I really didn't like the writing style or the romance, and I didn't even like the font. I hate that font. What is that? That's just a me problem, though. I mean, it was like a fun time, but it's just like, I wasn't into it, like, whatsoever. The only thing keeping me going was Margaret's story, and there was not nearly enough of that. The next one that I read was Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Elston, and basically the description is 2 women, 1 dead husband, and only 1 alibi. So, I enjoyed this book a little bit. I mean, I don't really like thrillers, at least at the moment, but it was in the place I live. It was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so there was a lot of things that were familiar to me, so that was cool. And I mean, the story was kind of interesting, but I don't know, it just wasn't my kind of story. So I gave it 3 stars. Like, I enjoyed it. I just wasn't that into it. But if you like thrillers, definitely read Anatomy of an Alibi because it was well done. And if you liked Anatomy of an Alibi and you're watching this, definitely read First Lie Wins because I read that and it was really good. I read that like 2 years ago, but I really liked it. This last one that I read last month. What I have been reading in June, I just haven't finished it, and I've been reading it this month, is Homesick for Another World, which I just finished this today. Ottessa Moshfegh's short story collection. I gave it 3 stars. Like, I mean, I get it, I do get it, because I do like Utessa Moshfegh, but her short stories did next to nothing for me, and there was probably 2 stories that I actually enjoyed and got something from, but the rest of them were just very mundane, gross depictions of someone in everyday life. They were about people that were pushed to the side and wanted to fit in and things like that. But I just didn't see the point in almost all of them. And I read some of the reviews that were saying the same thing. So I mean, I know it's not just me. I definitely like her books more than her short stories, because I feel like there's not enough room. Just felt like it was a bunch of doing things for shock value, and it just wasn't shocking me because I've read 3 of her books already, so I know that it's weird. The next one I've been reading is The Shining by Stephen King. I'm sure most of you know. Man goes to the Overlook Hotel to watch over it, brings his family with the threat of cabin fever, and obviously things go crazy. But I am only on chapter 8. I just got to part 2, closing day, but I'm not far. I've seen the movie. I watched the movie the other day with my boyfriend. I love the movie, and I got it on DVD. It's right there. And I'm probably gonna watch it on DVD soon, but because I got my little DVD player from my grandma. But yeah, I really like the movie. If you're not gonna read the book, watch the movie. The last one I've been reading, and I'm probably going to pick up right after this video, is Lovers XXX. It's about 2 girls living in Los Angeles. They're both 18. They kind of like left home as soon as they turned 18. They work in a strip club, and they move up to like modeling in like nude photo shoots and things like that, and then they start shooting videos. Dazzled by the drugs, sex, and parties their new life offers, they are also beset by sexism, bitter competition, and the precarity of life on the margins. When their friendship ends in a recrimination and a dramatic act of betrayal, Jude goes missing, and Winnie can find no trace of her. And then it flashes forward to 30 years later, and I'm pretty sure Winnie is still trying to find her, try to find the mystery of what happened to Jude. So it's kind of like mystery mixed with literary fiction, and it's about, it's about people who are not usually talked about. People in, like, I liked that it was about people whose work is not usually talked about in books. Like, I know we see a lot of, like, models and people who make movies online, but I mean, I haven't seen a lot of books about people with that lifestyle, so it's really, really interesting to read about these 2 girls who just wanted to get away and make money, and they end up doing all this crazy stuff, and then one of them goes missing. I think it's a really interesting plot, and I'm so excited to keep reading it. I'm only right here, but I mean, it's like 300 something pages. It's around 350 pages, and the text is really big, and I mean, whenever the text is big and the chapters are not long, I fly through books. So I'm really excited to keep reading. This was from Book of the Month. I'm pretty sure this was an add-on, so it's from last month. I just haven't finished it yet. That is all I read in June, and then all I've been reading currently, so I will see you guys definitely soon. I have a bunch of video ideas. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them. I'm interested to know.